Hey guys, it's Brandon from Pivot Workspaces. We're starting a new thing. We're going to do a weekly business tip. So every week we're going to offer a different tip that can help you with your business, whether it be run it more effectively, offering better marketing, offering more value to your customer. Every week we're gonna focus on something different. And this is the first week this week. So for those of you who don't know, I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur. I'd call myself a serial entrepreneur. I ran my family's restaurant for about 5 years. I worked in it since about the age of 4. I didn't do too much work at the age of 4, but you get what I'm saying. I started going in at the age of 4. I worked my way out from sweeping the floor, folding pizza boxes, to doing the dining room, to cooking on the grill, to leading the grill area, to working the cash register, to being a shift manager, and again, I ended up as vice president. I was running the entire operation. During that time, I started several other businesses as well. I've started a yoga studio, a cafe, a marketing agency, a lot of different things. Some have been successful, some haven't. And most recently, I started Pivot Workspaces. Most of the tips that I'm going to talk about are not necessarily from Pivot. They're from things I learned along the way, mostly from failing. I've found failing is one of the best teachers you can possibly have. So week's one tip is going to be keep good records. Keep good records. I find in this digital age, this has fallen to the wayside a bit. Many people keep things on their computer, or they keep them in their email, thinking if I need to go back and find it, I can. But keep good physical records. Get a file cabinet. Get an accordion file. Get something where you can keep physical copies. If you get an important report to your email, if payroll, financial reports from your bank, everything, file it away. Start different files for each vendor or each company you're working with. For example, we had M&T Bank back in the day, so we'd have an M&T main folder, and then within that main folder, we'd have our monthly statements, we'd have any deposit slips, receipts, things like that. In our vendors folder, for example, at the restaurant, we'd have Triple C, which was sold us paper products, Restaurant Depot, Giant, all the different vendors we have. So we'd have a main folder for vendors and then an individual manila folder for each individual vendor. Start this. It is one of the most important things you can do, and here's the reason why. I've had many situations. I'm just going to name a few of them. I had a time when an employee was disputing the amount of hours they had, right? I went back to try and find the documented hours. I couldn't find them. I had to pay them the money because I couldn't prove otherwise, right? I couldn't prove they were right. I couldn't prove they were wrong. So I had to go ahead and pay them the money. I've had a situation where we got a bill in the mail for something that I swore we had paid. I was 99% sure we had paid it. I went to look in the files I had, which weren't great at the time, couldn't find it. I spent an hour running around like an idiot trying to find this piece of paper, when if I would have had it there, I could have saved time, and time is money, right? So keep good files. I could name a lot of other reasons as to why it's a good idea. Legally, you need to keep them. 7 years, most files, right? Especially if you have a environmental type business, things like that. Legally, you have to keep them for a certain amount of time. And you want to be able to have them right at your fingertips whenever you need them. Some things I recommend keeping files of that you might not think of, right? Income projections, creating income projections for your business, filing those away, and then keeping the reports of how much you're bringing in monthly so you can compare them to your income projections and see how close you're sticking to it, right? I'll use an example for Pivot. We keep files of every new member who joins. We keep info on them and all that stuff. So when it's their birthday, we can send them something or things like that, right? So tip number 1 for our new weekly business tips is keep good files. So keep checking back. We're going to have lots of great tips that'll help you with your business. And yeah, signing out. Thanks.